Ethan was a youthful and lively park ranger who had just begun his career in a national park. His love for nature and wildlife had been evident since childhood, and he had always aspired to have such a profession. Each day, Ethan looked forward with enthusiasm to new adventures and opportunities to assist the park's creatures. The national park where Ethan worked was home to many animal species, but it was especially known for its population of African lions. There were about 30 lions in the park, so Ethan felt a special responsibility for their health and well-being. One early morning, Ethan set off in his Jeep to patrol the park's territory. The sun was just beginning to rise over the horizon, painting the sky in gentle pink and orange hues. The air was fresh and cool, filled with the scent of blooming plants. Ethan's route passed through a rocky area where one of the lion prides lived. These rocks were an ideal habitat for the lions, offering them shelter, shaded resting areas, and vantage points for hunting. As Ethan moved closer to the rocks, he spotted a group of young lions playing near the edge of a cliff. Their carefree jumps and chases made the ranger smile, but also feel worried. He knew how dangerous this place could be, especially for inexperienced animals. Suddenly, Ethan saw part of the rock beginning to crumble under the paws of the playful lions. His heart raced as he realized the impending danger. He hoped the adult lions would call the cubs away from the edge in time. One of the older lions, noticing the danger, stood up and began to roar loudly, calling the young ones to move away from the edge. However, the playful youngsters, engrossed in their fun, did not immediately respond to the warning. Seeing that his calls were being ignored, the older lion decisively moved toward the cubs. His mighty roar finally caught their attention, and they started to retreat from the dangerous edge. But it was already too late. The movement of the heavy adult lion was the final straw for the unstable cliff edge. A large piece of rock broke off, taking one of the young lions with it. Ethan watched in horror as the lion slipped off the cliff. Luckily, the animal was able to latch onto a rocky ledge with its claws, but its situation remained highly perilous. Without assistance, the lion would not be able to cling on for much longer. Without hesitation, Ethan picked up his radio and urgently called for support, quickly explaining the situation and requesting immediate assistance. He knew they had to act quickly, or the lion would fall to the rocks below. Making a decision, Ethan immediately drove toward the cliff in his Jeep. He needed to drive the other lions away to safely carry out the rescue operation. By honking loudly and maneuvering the Jeep, Ethan hoped that the noise and movement would scare the predators away. To his relief, the tactic worked, and the pride began to retreat, clearing the area around the cliff. Once the last lion disappeared from view, Ethan jumped out of the vehicle and ran to the edge of the cliff. Peering over the edge, Ethan spotted the young lion desperately gripping the rock. The animal let out distressing cries, its claws struggling to maintain a hold on the slippery stone. Ethan understood that he only had a few minutes before the lion's strength would give out. Quickly returning to the Jeep, he took out strong ropes from the trunk, figuring out how best to tie the lion to pull it up. At that moment, Ethan heard the long-awaited sound of approaching jeeps. His colleagues had arrived to help. Wasting no time, the Rangers immediately got to work, following Ethan's instructions. Together, they created a system of ropes and began lowering one end down to the stranded lion. Ethan, as the initiator of the rescue operation, took on the most dangerous part, tying the lion with ropes. Carefully approaching the edge of the cliff, he began to lower the rope. The lion seemed to understand that people were trying to help and did not show any aggression. Its amber eyes were full of fear and hope. With immense effort, Ethan successfully secured the rope around the lion's body. The animal instinctively flinched, nearly plunging into the chasm, but the Rangers spoke to it in calming voices. Astonishingly, the lion appeared to understand and relaxed, allowing Ethan to complete fastening the rope. When the lion was securely fastened, Ethan gave the signal to the other Rangers to start lifting. It was a difficult task. The weight of the young lion was immense, and the unstable surface of the cliff made the work even harder. The Rangers pulled with all their might, slowly lifting the lion up. Ethan encouraged his colleagues and the lion, understanding that the animal's life depended on their coordinated efforts. After several grueling minutes, the lion's face appeared over the edge of the cliff. A few more pulls, and the animal was on solid ground, exhausted but still alive. The lion lay on the grass, breathing heavily. The rangers retreated, allowing the animal more space, all except Ethan. Driven by some inner impulse, Ethan stayed close to the lion. He slowly knelt beside it, looking directly into its eyes. In that moment, a spark of understanding seemed to pass between the man and the beast. The lion showed no aggression, but looked at Ethan with something resembling gratitude. Carefully, Ethan began removing the ropes, and the lion allowed him to do so, not moving from its spot. When the last rope was removed, the lion slowly rose to its feet. It looked at Ethan one more time,